Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopī Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopī Janaballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajanarayana Yasodanandana Brajanarayana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Sada Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Sada Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, आनंद कौटी वैष्णविंद की जय, नाविचार हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत कलाधार शिव सदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन नाथ जी की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मैपुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, नीलाचल से तस्य जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, श्रीमद तुलसी महारानी की जय, बृहद मृदंग ट्रांसलेटर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि। Our glories to assembled devotees, our glories to assembled devotees, our glories to assembled devotees, our glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Gurudas Jai Dvada Swamita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naron Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayat Mudirahe Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Thank you very much for coming. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 30, text number 35 and 36. The chapter is titled, The Gopīs Search for Kṛṣṇo. Can everybody hear me all right at the back? Okay. Iti evam darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyo vicetasaḥ evaṁ gopīm manayat kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā kāma-yānā asau bhajate priyaḥ iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyo vicetasaḥ evaṁ gopīm manayat kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā kāma-yānā asau bhajate priyaḥ iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyo vicetasaḥ evaṁ gopīm manayat kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sache mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā kāma-yānā asau bhajate priyaḥ. Please chant. Iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyaḥ vicetasaḥ yaṁ gopīm anayat kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā gopī kāma-yānā mām asau bhajate priyaḥ iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyaḥ vicetasaḥ yaṁ gopīm मनयत kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā gopī kāma-yānā mām asau bhajate priyaḥ iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyo vicetasaḥ gopīm मनयत kṛṣṇo sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā gopīḥ kāma-yānā mām asau bhajate priyaḥ iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyaḥ vicetasaḥ yaṁ gopīm anayat kṛṣṇo vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā gopī kāma-yānā mām asau bhajate priyaḥ. Mataji. iti evaṁ darśayantyas ceruḥ gopyaḥ vicetasaḥ vihāyānyāḥ striyo vane sacha mene tadātmānaṁ variṣṭhaṁ sarva-yoṣitām hitvā gopī kāma-yānā mām asau bhajate priyaḥ. Synonyms. Iti, thus, evam, in this manner, darśayantyah, showing, taha, they, ceruḥ, wandered, gopyaḥ, the gopīs, vicetasaḥ, completely bewildered, yaṁ, which, gopīm, gopī, anayat, he took, kṛṣṇo, Lord Krishna, vihāya, abandoning, anyaḥ, the other, striyo, woman, vane, in the forest, saha, she, cha, also, mene, thought, tada, then, Atmanam, herself, variṣṭhaṁ, the best, sarva, of all, yoṣitām, women, hitvā, rejecting, gopīḥ, the gopīs, kāma-yānāḥ, who are impelled by lusty desire, māṁ, me, asau, he, bhajate, is accepting, priyaḥ, the beloved. Translation purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As the gopis wandered about, their minds completely bewildered, they pointed out various signs of Krishna's pastimes. The particular gopi whom Krishna had led into a secluded forest, when he had abandoned all the other young girls, began to think herself the best of women. My beloved has rejected all the other gopis, she thought, even though they are driven by Cupid himself. He has chosen to reciprocate with me alone. Please chant. As the gopis wandered about, their minds completely bewildered, they pointed out various signs of Krishna's pastimes. The particular gopi whom Krishna had led into a secluded forest, when he had abandoned all the other young girls, began to think herself the best of women. My beloved has rejected all the other gopis, she thought, even though they are driven by Cupid himself. He has chosen to reciprocate with me alone. Purport. Previously, all the gopis had become proud of their association with Krishna and then suddenly lost his association. Only Radharani remained with him. Now she has also become proud of that association and will suffer a similar fate. The Lord arranges all this to reveal the gopis' unparalleled devotion for him, a devotion whose intensity fully manifests in moments of separation. Om Agnānatimirandasya Jnānanjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Siddhita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha कृपा सिंधु भयैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले गुरुदास जय अद्वैत स्वामी नामे। Hare Krishna. So, we see in this chapter titled The Gopis Search for Krishna. Just the previous chapter, the Raslila pastimes of the Lord are described. And we see in that Raslila pastime that the Lord reciprocates with each and every gopi individually. So much so that the gopi starts feeling that Krishna is with me alone. Krishna is with me alone. And the moment they start feeling that Krishna is with me alone, to intensify that devotion, the Lord leaves that place with one special gopi, right? To a secluded forest. No, he leaves to a secluded forest. And we see from the beginning of this chapter, the gopis' intensity of separation increases, and in that intensity of separation, they are searching everywhere. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? So much so that they start asking. They see a tree, they ask the tree. They see Tulsi Maharani, they ask Tulsi Maharani. They see jasmine, all the other trees, they start asking each and every one of them that where is Krishna? Have you seen him? And then they will start asking the earth that have you seen Krishna? Right? Have you seen Krishna? And then we come to this verse, I think it's verse number 28, where they start seeing in the secluded forest the footprints of Lord Krishna. And along with the footprint of Lord Krishna, they see also another footprint of this special gopi. Right? Which then in verse 28, Sukadeva Goswami reveals that Anayaradito nunam Bhagwan Harishvara yanno viha Govinda pitto yam anayat raha. Certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. They start seeing the footprint of Krishna, and they start seeing the symbols and the footprint of Krishna. So the glories of all the lotus feet of the Lord is explained. And then the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is then also glorified. That how Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Rama Devi all put this dust on their forehead. Right. And then this verse, they see the footprint of this special gopi, Aradhita, Srimati Radharani. That on her footprint also, we see all these various symbols. Right. And then slowly we come to this verse where Srimati Radharani is feeling that how she has been favored by Lord Krishna, right? All these gopis were there, they were all attacked by this Cupid, and they were after Krishna, and he left them all, and he is with me alone. He is with me alone. So that is called a little bit of pride. But our acharyas explain that pride, mana, are of two types, right? Srila Jiva Goswami Pad mentions mana, that which is permanently filled with great joy, which manifests when the lover is present, right? Permanently filled and manifests when the lover is present. That mana. And another mana is that which is permanently filled with great pride, which manifests when some other object appears. Right. So here we see that Srimati Radharani is completely absorbed in thinking about Krishna. And when she is in presence of Lord Krishna, she feels this mana. And ultimately, later verses will say about this mana, where how Lord Krishna abides by some of his mana. See, he leaves that particular place initially. So again, later on, we'll see further description of that mana bhanga. Right. So that's a special bhava which the Lord has with his devotees. That bhava is of two types, sambhoga and vipralamba. Right. Bhava which appears when the devotee of the Lord is with the Lord, Nam and Nami, they are together, right? Like the gopīs are with the paramour, or Srimati Radharani is with the Lord Krishna, right? And that is explained in Suddha Nama by Gaur Gobind Maharaj as Sambhoga and Vipralamba. Right? Sambhoga means union, Vipralamba means separation. Right. And the intensity of this union increases when there is separation. When there is union, the intensity is there, but it's not as much as Vipralamba bhava. Right. So that intensity is much more in Vipralamba bhava. Right. And that's where one of the reasons we can see that Krishna leaving the gopis, and we see the intensity of that hankering for Krishna increases. They are searching for Krishna everywhere. And similarly here, Srimati Radharani's intensity increases. So much so that later on, a chapter after this Gopi Gita, says, when Uddhavji comes to meet, to bring the message of Lord Krishna, this entire Gopi Gita is there, where the intensity of that separation is there. So that Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of Mahabhava. This is the embodiment of Mahabhava. So that Vipralamba bhava to its pinnacle, climax, comes to Mahabhava stage. And Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of that. Yeah. And we see Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explaining that Lord Krishna, though he is Atmaram, fully satisfied. He is fully satisfied. Right? He is fully satisfied with himself. But he is also eager to get the association of Srimati Radharani. Because Srimati Radharani is the Ladini Shakti of the Lord. Right? The Lord's energy, which is divided, internal energy of the Lord, into three. Ladini Shakti, Samvit Shakti and Sandhini Shakti. And Srimati Radharani is a personification of the Ladini Shakti of the Supreme Lord. Right? And that Ladini Shakti of the Supreme Lord, it's mentioned that the Lord, in experience of the Ladini Shakti, is much higher than the Atmaram, than his full satisfaction within himself. Right? So that Chakravarti Thakurpad explains that Atmaram, or he explains the term Atmarataha, he enjoys with the most splendid soul Srimati Radharani, that he does not enjoy as Atmaram as much as he enjoys with Radharani. And Akhanditaha, he becomes completely fulfilled. Right? So he explains these three terms, Atmaram, Atmarata and Akhandita. The Lord is complete. Akhanditaha, as Radha is Lord's Ladini Shakti, arising from his very Swarupa. Right. So that's this intensity of separation which we see of Srimati Radharani, which is intensified by Lord Krishna. That it initially begins with Namaha, with this Manaha, and that Manaha, that pride, someone may question, how come that pride comes in Srimati Radharani's heart? She's like Ladini Shakti, she's a divine, both are divine couples. But it's one of the mood of intensity where she feels when Lord Krishna is there. Right? And that Radha Bhav later on we see in the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. To experience that pastime, to experience that mood, the intensity which Srimati Radharani has for Krishna. Krishna himself comes down as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He appears as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And that's called Gaurabhav, which is much more deeper, where we see in the last 24 years of Mahaprabhu's pastime in Jagannath Puri, he experiences this intensity, where he is searching for Krishna everywhere, so much so that he jumps into the ocean, thinking that it is Jamuna. Right? And all these symptoms are experienced by Mahaprabhu in Gambhira, right? And same intensity which we see when Subhadramai is explaining about the intensity which the Vrajvasis feel for Krishna, right, at Kurukshetra. When Lord Krishna comes to Kurukshetra, and the Vrajvasis come from Vraj to Kurukshetra at a solar eclipse. And Rohini mentions about the separation which the Vrajvasis are feeling without Krishna. And especially the gopīs, especially Srimati Radharani. And Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, when they hear that, what happens? They're completely in ecstasy. Their arms stretches out, their eyes become broad, right? And that's a form of Lord Jagannath. So in that intensity of separation, all these pastimes of Gaur Lila, Jagannath Lila, and especially in Vraj, where we are right now, we see Bhauma Vrindavan that intensity of separation we can experience to some extent if we follow the gopis. That's why the mood should be gopi bharta pada kamala dasanu dasanu das. Let me become the servant of the servant of the servant of that who is serving. The gopis who are serving Srimati Radharani. Right? Yeah. Are there any questions, discussions on this point? Still have for the time. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol Prabhuji.
Most of when we heard the word shrill, like shrill Prabhupada, so I just want to know what's the meaning of the word shrill?
Shrill. Srila.
Or shrill.
Okay. Yeah. That we understand is that who enters into the pastime of Sri La, right? La means it's for short form Leela. Who enters into the pastime of Sri, which is Srimati Radharani. Is that all right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, sir.
Trying to understand how Krishna can exhibit his most elevated pastime by, showing the intensity of gopis' love, but then some pride is there. That's also Leela too, so that he can be Srimati Radharani, and she's showing some pride. So Krishna's always teaching us, but the Vedantists and the mystics and yogis, they spend a lot of time with austerity and study and sacrifice to be able to even comprehend the smaller aspects. So how is it that by Srila Vyasadeva compiled this literature, although it's recommended to go through the various stages and elevation, but still, as neophytes, when we hear such intimacy, should we just accept it with great faith and joy and not really try to analyze it too much? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, that's why the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, Radharani, Sukadeva Goswami refers even by Aradhyate, it doesn't even directly refer by name. And one is, instead of directly jumping into the pastime of Srimati Radharani, we have to go to the lower stages. I was also myself feeling that, am I qualified to speak on these particular words today? So I was asking the permission of my Guru Maharaj that, can I speak on these words? Because it's quite high topic or something. So we cannot overly analyze that, but can hear from the commentary of the Acharyas to really get the meaning. Otherwise we'll come to that meaning, how come pride is there in Srimati Radharani? How come pride is there in the gopis? They're considered the topmost. Right? We see these different mellows. The mellow of Santa, neutrality, mellow of Darsya, servitorship, mellow of friendship, Sakhya, mellow of Vatsalya, and conjugal mellow is the highest. And Parakya Bhav, Bhajate Prachar. Right? Parakya Bhav, Bhajate Prachar, that's the topmost. Viprana Bhav. So, in that topmost devotees, how come we see this pride? But then, that's why the Acharyas then explain that pride is there in presence of their paramour. It's not the pride for seeing some object or something, a material object. I have this material object, I become proud. Right? This pride is for Krishna, that Krishna is with me. Right? So that pride is considered to be all right. And then Lord intensifies that devotion for Him by going away. Not by at times we hear about the pastime where a devotee has a pride and Lord goes away. to break that pride. But here, it's mana bhanga, it's like more like where Lord intensifies that mood of separation with the gopis. That's what I feel. Yes.
Thank you for a nice class. One more point, if I may, with
Yeah,
your
please.
permission, add that not only to intensify their love, but also to glorify.
Yeah.
He creates this through the Lila Shakti, the transcendental pride.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for adding that word, transcendental pride. Yes. Any other discussion or reflection? Yeah.
I was amazed by the intensity of what we haven't discussed the 10th canto probably in Vrindavan for a long time. But it's wonderful that Rupa Goswami glorified Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because you saw we have no hope of following any rigorous, deep Vedic, Quranic mantras. So many examples of the Brahmana that were refusing to give food to Krishna and Balaram, but the wives were very much naturally inclined. And Lord Chaitanya empowering Rupa and Sanatana Goswami to write the literatures, Nectar Devotion, Nectar Instruction, and Srila Prabhupada delivering the Goswami's message of Bhakti Rasamrita in the form of Kṛṣṇo book, which is, in the very beginning. So everyone's looking for that rasa, the happiness. We can't blindly think that I'm going to stop my senses or I'm going to, by the yogic process, become free of desires. But just showing us how to purify the desires and really just appreciate Krishna's wonderful pastimes, because of following Prabhupada's mood of, humbly surrendering to the spiritual master.
Yes.
Hearing from the authorized sources. We're not going out to hear from persons who are not guided by the Guru Parampara, because even a little bit of misunderstanding can make one actually bewildered as to how to proceed in life without the enjoying spirit creeping in.
Yeah.
More of a comment, I guess.
Oh, very much true. Panchagoda Prabhu, it's like, that's why at each and every step we need to be guided. That's why I feel that at each and every step we need to be guided. I think when Jagadananda Pandit, Mahaprabhu's associate, was coming to Vrindavan, Swarup Damodar Goswami mentioned to him that you go and just take shelter of Sanatana Goswami. Don't see left, don't see right. Just take shelter of Sanatana Goswami. Because at times we won't be able to understand the mood. And often you might land up committing offenses. Especially in this holy place. We need to be very, very careful. Yeah? So Srila Prabhupada has given us everything in his books. And more we can dive deeper, and as you mentioned about, but just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, especially in this age, like I was reading the Sudanam, this book by Gaur Gobind Maharaj about chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can get, following Mahaprabhu, to understand this intimate pastimes of the Lord, otherwise no hope. Thank you very much for sharing.
You have a question?
Thank you for the class. This is like when Srimati Radha and Krishna meets. So there is one bhav, but there is always a fear of separation, and the tears start going to Radha's eyes, and she starts seeing the tears. But and it is said that that is the topmost bhav, separation, just fear because we will get separated very soon. So can you please elaborate on that? What kind of bhav Because they are together, that is one bhava. So this is topmost because Radharani is with Krishna, but now she's always started thinking about separation, and the tears start flowing, and she's very concerned. So can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, so that's also a mood where, okay, my paramour is with me, and pretty soon he will leave. So that I'm thinking about living, like the gopis thinking, that oh, how come the Creator has given me eyebrows, where for a moment my eyes are closed by the eyebrows. Right. So even thinking about that, because they want to see Krishna 24/7. Right. So thinking about it that Krishna will live, that intensity increases, that oh, he will live, and tears starts rolling. Right. Think the picture which is there of where the tears of separation, where tears are rolling down Srimati Radharani's cheeks, they are symptoms of ecstasy. Symptoms of ecstasy. And that Mahabhava stage of Parakasta, right? It's pinnacle. It's the intensity is so much. Mahaprabhu, later chapters in Antya Lila, we see the intensity of that separation, the romance, the bones start shrinking in and all this kind of, in Sikshastakam, Nayanam Galadasu Dharaya, Vadanam Gadgarudaya Gira, Pulake Nichitam Bapo Kadatava, Nama Grahane Bhavishati. When will that time come? When just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, tears will start rolling down my eyes. My voice will start choking up. Right. We have been chanting, but when will that time come? That is full absorption in the chanting of the name itself, because the name is non-different than the Supreme Lord. The pastimes of the Lord, the Nama, Rupa, Charita, Adi, Sukirtananu, are there in the name itself. Right? The Rupa, the form of the Lord is there, the Lila of the Lord is there, everything is there in the name itself. That's why Mahaprabhu is feeling that when will my eyes will have tears? So that tears of separation is in anticipation that oh, Krishna will live. At any time, that oh, if he lives, what will be life? When Uddhavji comes, he goes to the kitchen of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Jasoda. After Krishna had left, they had never cooked. All right. Mother Jasoda is churning butter, but there is nothing there. But they are completely absorbed that of doing things for Krishna, for his pleasure. Right. So those are quite advanced topics or something where right? Is that okay? Yes, please.
Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Brought up some really nice points. You had mentioned something on the difference of spiritual pride and material pride. Spiritual pride is when the beloved is present. That was really nice. That the material pride, it's actually some mundane object is present. And so the difference being that when the beloved becomes separated, that love should actually increase. There should, the only emotional connection is with the object of love, and therefore love is the only active ingredient for love. Whereas a material relationship, you're not going to have love, actually.
Just lust.
So, I'd like to ask, because we have a need, sort of an emotional need to dovetail our pride, right, in Krishna consciousness, but often it becomes difficult for us to discern whether or not we're actually putting our pride in our beloved, in Krishna, or if it's just some kind of reflection of Krishna. And then when that supposed objects of ours is removed, like our favorite chatter, it's like, oh, look, it's Krishna's chatter, but then you lose it and you get all demoniac, and then it's like, well, how spiritual was that for you?
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk about how we can navigate this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that our level, at sadhaka's level, the pride is one of the anartha. Right, it's one of the anartha. The pride, the mana which the gopīs and Srimati Radharani is experiencing, we can just think about, we cannot even think about it properly, we cannot comprehend it properly. Because at our level, most of the pride is for the object. Pride for our position, pride for this, pride for that, pride for that. And that pride, more trinadapi sunichena tarurapi saistuna happens. That should be smashed. Right? For us to progress in spiritual life. Otherwise that pride becomes one of the anartha. So unless that anartha nivritti does not happen, we won't come to the higher stage. So that more we follow, trying to be more humble than the blade of grass, more we follow how to become more tolerant than a tree, giving respect to others, not expecting respect in return. We'll hopefully come to the stage of pridelessness. Yes, this hard transcendental pride is there, but no, we don't want to allow our mind to think that, so this could be transcendental pride, or this is the object of Krishna. Is that okay?
Even if it's like, this is Krishna's service, and I, have some pride in my service because it's for Krishna, often that can be very helpful, even if it is a neophyte devotee. Usually there's some safety in that, but often, as you're pointing out, that can be very precarious.
Yeah, suddenly we can become proud, I have to be glorified, I have to sing kirtan because I'm a good kirtaniya. It's a service for Krishna. But if it's not done in the humble mood, that pride can be impediment. I am doing wonderful shringar. I am making wonderful garlands. I am cooking so nicely for Krishna. But all that, though Krishna is in the center of our thoughts, that pride makes it to possess you of it. If somebody wants to assist, oh, no, we don't want you. Right? And that kind of makes that wall, because that anartha is covering that. Is that okay? Okay. Is that all right, Panchapada? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Madhupati Prabhu ki jai.